Caitlin Clark is one of the brightest stars the WNBA has seen in years. Her incredible shooting, leadership, and dedication have made her a household name in basketball. But there's something the WNBA isn't telling you about her rise to fame, something that they'd rather keep hidden behind the spotlight. The truth is, Caitlin Clark's journey to stardom is filled with obstacles, many of which the league hasn't properly addressed. Today, we're diving deep into what the WNBA has been trying to hide about Caitlin Clark. To understand Caitlin Clark, we have to go back to where it all began. Born in West Des Moines, Iowa, Caitlin wasn't like the other kids her age. While her peers were just learning the basics of basketball, Caitlin's skills were already advanced. She could dribble, shoot, and think the game at a level far beyond her years. But there was a problem. There weren't enough competitive girls' leagues for someone like Caitlin. Her parents quickly realized she was different, so they did the only thing they could. They signed her up to play on boys' teams. Now imagine that for a second. Most kids would feel out of place, maybe even intimidated by the idea of playing in boys' leagues at such a young age. But not Caitlin. She embraced it. Playing against the boys not only toughened her up, but also sharpened her skills to a level that few could match. By the time she reached middle school, she was already well known across Iowa basketball circles. Coaches, players, and fans alike couldn't stop talking about this girl who was dominating against boys. But basketball wasn't Caitlin's only sport. Growing up, she played just about everything: softball, volleyball, soccer, tennis, and even golf. Her athleticism was off the charts, and it didn't matter what sport it was. She excelled. But basketball always had her heart. By the time she reached high school, it was clear that her future lay on the basketball court. Caitlin narrowed her focus to basketball and soccer, but by the end of her sophomore year, she made the tough decision to give up soccer and dedicate herself fully to basketball. And here's where things get even more interesting. Despite her talent and growing reputation, Caitlin's deep shooting ability didn't just come naturally. It took one pivotal moment to shift her focus completely. That moment came when her father took her to a WNBA game in Minnesota. As Caitlin sat in the stands, watching professional players drain deep three-pointers with ease, something clicked inside her. She saw what was possible, and from that moment on, she became obsessed with adding that skill to her game. When they got home, Caitlin begged her dad to tear up part of the family's yard so she could extend their driveway. Why? Because she wanted a proper three-point line to practice from. That's how serious she was. This wasn't just about practicing, it was about transforming her game. Her father, Brent, understood her dedication, so they made it happen. And Caitlin spent hours, day after day, practicing her shot. That work ethic paid off. Fast forward to her rookie season in the WNBA, and Caitlin Clark had become one of the most feared shooters in the league. In a game against the Washington Mystics, she lit up the court, hitting 7 out of 13 three-point attempts. But that was just a taste of what was to come. Caitlin had her eyes set on breaking records, and she wasn't about to let anyone stop her. In August, she surpassed Ryan Howard's rookie record of 85 made three-pointers in just 31 games, 3 games fewer than Howard. Caitlin was on fire, and the league was taking notice. But with all the attention came the challenges that no one was talking about. While the WNBA has been more than happy to promote Caitlin Clark's superstar performances, there's a darker side to her story, one the league hasn't been as quick to discuss. You see, while Caitlin was setting records and filling stadiums, she was also taking a physical beating on the court. Her aggressive, fearless style of play, combined with her undeniable talent, made her a target. Opposing teams weren't holding back, and the hits kept coming. In her rookie season alone, Caitlin Clark racked up 6 technical fouls, an unusually high number for any player, let alone a rookie. But where was the protection from the league? It was noticeably absent. Game after game, Caitlin faced rough physical play, and yet the league stood by, promoting her highlights while turning a blind eye to the punishment she was taking. Sure, the WNBA loves to market its young stars, but when it comes to protecting them, that's a different story. Even basketball legend Gino Auriemma weighed in on the situation, publicly stating that Caitlin Clark deserved better. He pointed out what many fans were starting to realize. Caitlin wasn't getting the support she needed from the league, or from her own team. She was being pushed to the limit, expected to carry the Indiana Fever almost single-handedly, all while dealing with the kind of rough play that would break most rookies. Auriemma wasn't wrong. Caitlin Clark was being asked to do too much, and it was starting to show. The physical toll of her rookie season wasn't just about bruises and fouls. It was about the emotional burden of carrying a team and a league on her back. The WNBA knew they had a star in Caitlin Clark, and they were quick to capitalize on it. The Fever went from near-empty arenas to record-breaking attendance numbers, all because of Caitlin's presence. But while the league enjoyed the boost in revenue and attention, they did little to address the growing concern that Caitlin was being overworked and underprotected. This isn't the first time we've seen this in professional sports. How many times have we seen a rising star pushed to the limit, their talent exploited for short-term gains without considering the long-term consequences? Caitlin Clark's case is starting to look like another example of a league that's more interested in marketing its stars than protecting them. And here's the thing, Caitlin Clark's journey wasn't just about basketball. It's about her fierce competitiveness. Since childhood, Caitlin hated losing. In fact, she would cry after every game her team lost, even as a young child. For her, it wasn't just about playing the game, it was about winning. That drive to win has fueled her entire career, from those early boys' league games to the WNBA. But this competitiveness wasn't limited to the basketball court. It extended to every aspect of Caitlin's life. One infamous story involves a basement Nerf basketball game with her brother Colin. The game got heated, and when Colin scored on her, Caitlin's competitive nature took over. In a moment of frustration, she grabbed him and threw him into a wall, hard enough to cause him to start bleeding. That's how seriously she took every competition. This drive to win, to be the best, has defined Caitlin's career. It's why she's been able to achieve so much, so quickly. But it's also why the WNBA's treatment of her is so troubling. Caitlin Clark is not someone who will back down from a challenge, but at what point does the league's failure to protect her become too much? This competitive spirit made Caitlin both a joy and a challenge to coach. Even in high school, she expected the best from herself and her teammates. If a play didn't go as planned, or if one of her passes wasn't caught, Caitlin would show her frustration. Her basketball IQ was so advanced that she was often 2 steps ahead of her teammates, which made it hard for them to keep up. But Caitlin's coaches knew that this fire was part of what made her special. And now, Caitlin is bringing that same fire to the WNBA. But the question remains, can the league handle it? Can they support a player as driven, as competitive, and as talented as Caitlin Clark without wearing her down in the process? Or will they continue to push her to the limit, using her star power to fill seats while ignoring the physical and emotional toll it's taking? Caitlin Clark's rookie season was filled with highlights, but it was also filled with challenges. The WNBA needs to recognize that it's not enough to promote her incredible performances. They need to step up and protect her too. The truth is, Caitlin Clark isn't just the future of the WNBA, she's its present. She's the player drawing fans, breaking records, and putting the league in the spotlight. But if the WNBA doesn't protect her, if they don't find a way to support her both on and off the court, they risk burning out one of their greatest assets. Caitlin Clark's journey is far from over. Her passion, her work ethic, and her determination will continue to propel her to new heights. But the WNBA, they have a choice to make. Will they step up and give her the protection and support she deserves? Or will they continue to hide behind her success, ignoring the reality of what she's facing on the court? As Caitlin Clark continues to break records and redefine what it means to be a rookie in the WNBA, the league needs to recognize that her career isn't just about numbers. It's about resilience, determination, and the will to overcome every obstacle. But that doesn't mean she should have to do it alone. The WNBA needs to be better. They need to ensure that Caitlin Clark isn't just a flash in the pan, a star who burns out too soon. Caitlin Clark's rise to stardom has been nothing short of spectacular, but it's time for the WNBA to do their part. It's time for them to protect their stars, to invest in their long-term success, and to stop hiding the truth about what's really happening behind the scenes. Caitlin Clark is the future of basketball, and the WNBA needs to step up to the challenge.